The following podcast contains strong language and alternative facts. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Heel Podcast. Over the airwaves and under the influence, we are Turning Heel.
Let's get this shindig started. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Turning Heel podcast with me, the Grizz. With Take two. And with me this week, all the way from Mexico City, Mexico, is Robert the Robo, back from excursion.
The robot is dead.
Uh-oh.
I was found new life. And
New life? Oh. What does this mean for the future of Robert and the Turning Heel podcast?
I will now be known as El Hijo del Mad Dog.
Okay. Depends on who the Mad Dog is.
Again, I'm the son of the Mad Dog. Deal with it. I met a Mexican man.
So you're...
He asked me to call him Daddy. I didn't think anything of it.
And that man grew up to be Matt Cross. Son of Havoc, so you're the son of Havoc.
Son of Havoc. The second?
El Hijo del Son of Havoc.
The son of Havoc.
Yeah, but it sounds even more redundant when you only have half of it in Mexican or Spanish. Why are we talking so much about Mexico? Well, because Robert just came back from there, but also because this past weekend we indulged ourselves in a nice bit of delight known as AAA Triplemania.
AAA.
The AAA, yes. So let us dig into this this massive dessert of a show. So we're pretty much going to start from already one of the, like, this is like having the cherry on top and then eating the cherry before digging into the rest of the dessert, because we had the Marvel Lucha Libre special match kicking us off. So this was a 6-person tag match where every wrestler had unique outfits based on superheroes
And villains.
So we had Arcano, who was Spooderman.
Who took his sweet ass time coming down that zip line.
So Shawn Michaels, he is not.
A bit like me when I first started driving and I was just stalling a car all the time.
Yeah, fuck, even Suicide can do it better. And he was a video game character. We had Estrella Cosmica, who was Captain Marvel, which that took me a while to kind of figure out, because I actually originally put Wonder Woman and I was like, nope, not Marvel. And Leyenda America, or Captain America. So the three wrestlers that portrayed them was Arcano was El Hijo del Vikingo, which we'll talk about again later. Cosmica was Lady Maravilla, who I think she was the second for Deonna Purrazzo in her match later on. And Captain America was Octagon Jr., who was kind of on commentary during the gauntlet match that comes up later. And they took on Picudara Lethal, who I literally needed to Google to find out who that was. It was Black Widow.
Yeah, it was a Black Widow.
A Black Widow.
Yes. A Black Widow in the Marvel thing is like a Russian female sleeper spy.
Okay. So it's like more of a job title than a super villain.
It's a bit like 007.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
She teamed with Terror Purpura, which was a Thanos.
Oh, Thanos. I thought you were going with Venom first, then Thanos being the big bad.
I think I went with him. I don't know what order I went with him. And Venonoid being Venom.
Weird, because he's not really a baddie.
Well, he doesn't look.
I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, he doesn't like the Spider-Man, so.
Ugh. No one liked that Spider-Man entrance. But I'm over that now. I'm over it. Once he got off the zip line, Spider-Man was the fucking best.
Mm-hmm. So Lethal was played by 60 Star 2.
Ooh.
Papura was played by Brian Cage. So that's Thanos.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
And Venom was played by Black Taurus.
I thought they were just random wrestlers.
No.
Yeah. I thought that was like their own like thing. I thought it was just they're just adopting sort of Marvel sort of outfits.
Yeah, because like sometimes they do that, but
no, I had no clue that it was basically it was a whole Tiger Mask W versus Tiger Mask Black thing all over again.
Yeah. I know, like, I was wondering that at first, and that's why I went deep into the kind of the internet for this. I actually needed to go deep into the internet for a lot of this to kind of. I managed to pull out some nice little tidbits from sort of people that follow AAA on a regular basis and was able to kind of fill in some gaps in knowledge and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But we get Papura, who comes out. I'm just going to, from now on, I'm just going to call them by their Marvel name. So Thanos comes out with his awesome gauntlet title.
Yeah, with the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. God, I've done a bit of both here. So Arcano comes down on a zip wire, which was not graceful to say the least. This clearly being a pre-show match because about 80% of the crowd have not filed in yet. And arguably, I think they might have missed one of the funnest matches on the show. So shame on you for being late.
Mm-hmm.
The ref in this match is a slightly overweight old guy that sometimes takes forever to go for pinfalls. And it reminds me of that time where Mongo McMichael refed a match in Impact with LAX were involved. And then you just seem like sometimes Homicide would just look at him like, seriously, hurry the fuck up. So we're in deep in the match where Thanos goes for a Gotch-style pile driver until the Incredible Hulk shows up, smashing through a wall. He was played by Murder Clown, and he stomps down to the ring and starts demolishing the heel team and squaring up to Thanos. And then, while the two of them just stand there staring angrily at each other, in the background, Captain America hits a Spanish fly, and Spider-Man with a 450 splash for the victory, as Thanos and Hulk just continue to stand there staring at each other. And then...
I wasn't sure if they were trying to say it, if this is going to be like a thing before the show.
Yeah, well, like, this is the thing, because, like, after this... a Loki dressed wrestler appears on screen says stuff in Spanish I didn't understand, but he looks as if this is going to continue. So maybe this is just like a pre-show thing that it's just going to be Marvel stories and Lucha.
I quite like the concept.
Yeah, so that actually it was really fun.
That's the thing. It's silly, and I think wrestling could be doing a bit more silly these days.
Yeah, definitely. It's really funny the fact that we're talking about this and we're going to be talking about New Japan, which are two completely polar opposites that were happening at the exact same time on Saturday.
Yeah.
We move on to the Copa Bardal Cibernetico match, which was essentially a Royal Rumble. Well, I put it down as more of a Battle Riot rules match where participants will come in every 45 seconds. You can win by pinfall, submission, or over the top. Just some highlights from this because I didn't go into too much detail. Mystices Jr. shows up with Mystices Jr., I'm assuming, which was...
I've seen it with Sin Cara, but is it Sin Cara Azul or is it Sin Cara Negro?
I'm pretty sure if it's Mystices, that's original Sin Cara.
The Sin Cara Azul?
Sin Cara Blue, yes. Because... Negro was Hunico.
Yes.
And
Sin Cara again.
Yeah. So Mystices comes out with or this is the thing, it's Mystices Jr., so that does throw a spanner in the works of whether it is actually Sin Cara or not, but the point still stands anyway. Like Mystices was / might be original Sin Cara. So Mystices Jr. comes out with this tiny little child in a mask, and you just see the thing squirming constantly, which is obviously very terrifying for a tiny little child. In front of like thousands of people in this really loud stadium, and having its face engulfed by a giant adult mask. Throughout the match, Mexican Shield were in there. Superfly and La Parka come in at one point and attack Drago, which causes his elimination. Wrestler Aramis does a dive to the outside. Aramis. Adam. Okay.
He's been signed to Azteca Underground.
Ooh. So how's it pronounced? Aramis?
I was just saying a wee bit different.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to be like a take on like Ares, but not. Like God of War sort of shit.
Okay.
Aramis?
I'm just going by how it's spelled, to be honest. I can't remember the pronunciation.
Guy in a mask.
So he does a dive to the outside at one point and then totally shatters the spine on the back of the guardrail. And potentially eliminating himself from that. This was one of the things where throughout the night, one of the commentators would just constantly... It was almost the point where he just started screaming in sound bites. But one of the things he just kept doing was just randomly screaming, Pelego! Like at random times.
And brutal!
Yeah. It was always... the worst part was it was always with the exact same inflection each time. And it just got so fucking annoying. And it's almost like someone just, because it sounded like there was like more than two people on commentary sometimes with the way that he kept doing it.
It sounded to me as if they were playing the commentary through the arena.
I think they were. There's definitely times where like it kept doing stuff like that and it seemed as if like it could be heard. Pimpinella was in this match and he is looking old.
If Sticky Vicky was a wrestler.
Ugh. I'd rather not. So it finally comes down to Mr. Iguana and one of the Mexican Shield members, with Iguana getting the win with a head scissors into a bulldog for the 1-2-3. He wins a nice little cup, and then comes this really bizarre, convoluted sequence of events where one faction from CMLL run in, attack Mr. Iguana. This brings in another faction to try and fight them. And then a third faction comes out, and then the first faction and the third faction join together to make one mega faction. And I'm sure if I had any clue what was going on, this would be awesome. But I hadn't a clue.
I was calling them Spanish Misfits in action.
Well, and we had Mexican Shield as well.
Mm-hmm.
Diana Purrazzo took on Fabi Apache for the Reina de Reinas Championship and the Impact Knockouts Championship, winner take all.
I didn't realise it was title for title.
Yes. Winner takes all.
I was watching them do the introductions for this, and I seen the referee just push Fabi Apache to the side. I was like, was that supposed to happen?
Well, yeah, because...
And then, obviously, as the match went on, I was like, right, okay.
So, AAA have heel referees that'll purposely side with heels over faces, obviously. But so much so that it really ruined this fucking match.
Mm-hmm.
So, apparently this one referee is in a feud with the whole Apache family.
Oh.
So I guess just sides against any Apache members, which I think was the same referee that was in the Omega Andrade match later. So a couple of weeks ago, when this match was announced, I says, "Oh, Fabi Apache, she was in Stardom. She's fucking old and terrible." That was Mary Apache, I think. So I actually got mixed up. Fabi Apache, not that bad.
I've seen her on Impact before,
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling like Taya and stuff like that. But
it wasn't bad. Just there was far too much of the heel referee stuff. Fabi had the match won at one point, and she was going up the top rope to do a move, but the ref then picks up Diana. Fabi starts attacking the referee, and then this allows Diana to hit a pile driver, locks in the armbar, gets the victory, wins the Reina de Reinas title. And I feel like if the match was just allowed to go like that bit more as a proper match and less of this heel referee stuff, it might have been like it was decent for what it was, but it was just really overshadowed.
It put a wee bit of doubt in my mind when it comes to Diana. I thought, like, before I watched this match, I would say Diana, top 10 female wrestler in the world. Watching this match, nah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought it. Exactly.
Yeah.
I know, like, I don't know, like, but again, like, this whole thing, I'm not really putting down to be part of a Diana problem. It's more so, it's a AAA booking decision.
I think it's just because we do hold her in quite high regard, and we do expect like better things. But I noticed when she was coming out, she looked nervous.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was probably the biggest crowd she's ever been in front of.
Nervous might even be the wrong word. Uncomfortable might be a better word to describe it.
But there's also always been all those stories of like some fans like, you know, being a bit too handsy with wrestlers and sort of stuff like that. So maybe there was always a wee bit of uncertainty. I don't know. It's because I mean,
wasn't the worst match in the card.
No. But we will get into that because arguably we're going to talk now about probably the best match on the card, which was Brian Cage, Black Taurus, taking on El Hijo del Vikingo and Laredo Kid versus the Lucha Brothers, defending the AAA Tag Team Championship.
this match was banging. I did not realise that Cage and Taurus was a team I wanted, but now I want it all the time.
Exactly. And do you know, you find it funny now, the fact that this is the second time they've teamed up tonight?
I know.
Which is something I didn't realise till after the fact.
Aye, and then when I was watching this match, I was like, the wee Viking, he's dead gallus. I like this Viking.
Vikingo is awesome.
He was Spider-Man with all the fucking tricks and flaps.
Yeah. Who'd have thunk? Because that's the thing is I tuned into AAA a bit late, so I actually missed the first. I missed the Marvel match and then most of the Gauntlet match when I tuned in, and then proceeded to stay up till about 7 a.m. watching the end of the show and then part of the New Japan show because I'm an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
So matches like this, it just goes to show how good like Cage and Taurus actually are, because Cage is good in AEW, but I don't feel like he gets the best kind of shine that he kind of had, like maybe when he was in Impact, for example.
Yeah, I don't like. Not that you can't have everybody be like on the shows all the time, otherwise everyone would be getting like 5 seconds each.
Yeah, nobody's special if everyone's special.
I think Cage could be utilised a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I know what he can do and I enjoy watching him.
Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like stuff like this, because the thing is, like, all 6 of these wrestlers, like, Vikingo was the one that I knew the least, but I knew him a little. I'm pretty sure he appeared in some of the Impact shows when they were doing tapings in Mexico. Yeah. I think I must have seen him in previous AAA Triplemania shows. But yeah, he's kind of the only one that's not taking the leap into America as of yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if that changes in a year or two.
Yeah. For somebody will snatch him up.
Yeah. So yeah, Cage done a lot of his big guy spots. Taurus got time to do a lot of stuff, which is a kind of, again, like, he's in Impact, he's part of like a kind of lower faction, so he's not really expected to do like a massive amount, and he's kind of there for his look. But here, like in this match, I feel like we got to see much more of Taurus as like the wrestler that he actually is.
Uh-huh.
So during the match, Cage done this awesome catch suplex on Vikingo. Then he throws him up in the air and it's kind of into a pop-up Samoan drop by Taurus. There was a double super kick to Taurus, and then the Luchas kick Cage down to the mat. Phoenix with a dive to Taurus on the outside, and then Penta coming out on Taurus second. Vikingo with a shooting star press off the guardrail to Taurus on the outside at one point was awesome. Loretto with this awesome top rope Rana to Phoenix and the 630 by Vikingo, but that gets broken up. Taurus with a top rope gorilla press onto Vikingo as Cage tries to run interference. That interference backfires as Penta comes off the back of Taurus, breaking the count, and then hitting Cage with a Canadian Destroyer, which allows Penta and Phoenix to hit their double team elevated pile driver on Vikingo for the victory, and still AAA Tag Team Champions.
This match was chaos. This match was mayhem. It was a clusterfuck, and I loved every minute of it.
Mm-hmm. This was a clusterfuck that was good.
Yes, very good. It was as if they just kind of went, do you know what? Fuck it. David, he's one.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great.
I know. Like, absolute props to all 6 men. There was a quick sort of bit from backstage that, it wasn't backstage here. It was actually backstage at AEW. It showed that Conan was going to Andrade's locker room trying to become his second for his match tonight. When Andrade says no, Conan literally walked across the hall and started banging on Kenny Omega's locker room and aligns himself with him instead. It's like, man, you really are a sleazy turncoat.
Yeah, You'll go where he can make a buck.
Yes. Now we get to the worst match of the night. La Empresa, Puma King, DMT Azul, and Sam Adonis taking on Team AAA of Chessman, Murder Clown, and Pagano.
I think anytime Pagano is part of a match, it's the worst match in the card. I think it's terrible.
He definitely seems to be one of those deathmatchy kind of guys that, you get your deathmatch guys that can do wrestling and deathmatch pretty well. Then you get your deathmatch guys that can't do wrestling very well.
So they have to do death matches?
Yeah. And that's kind of what this was a bit of a glorified deathmatch.
Well, I wouldn't say deathmatch. I'd say it was more of a street fight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this bits of the same thing, but obviously still slightly different. But yeah, I think this probably did help the likes of someone like Pagano, who we have seen before. He had a actually quite lengthy run in Impact at one point during its dark days.
The sort of Global Force Impact versus AAA story they were doing.
Yeah, but Pagano was front and center for that. I think
Tejano.
Wasn't Phantasma there?
El Hijo del Fantasma, eh?
Yeah. I wonder whatever happened to that guy.
He's probably somewhere fucking snorting lines.
Yeah, selling drugs on an island somewhere. So I didn't really take much of the notes for this match. The only kind of thing that I found online, though, that it kind of put the match into a bit more perspective was the story going in was the fact that Chessman and Pagano could they coexist because they were enemies. And last year at Triplemania, they had a hair versus hair match in the main event. So they were kind of still feuding. And so they were trying to hold the match together. And then it got to the point where the two of them started going at it. And then this allowed La Empresa to steal the win by them driving Pagano through a genuine metal ladder, not once, because when they did it the first time, they kind of missed it. So they decided to pick him up and do it again.
Tripoli.
And then they missed the actual finish, which was Chessman getting hit with a power bomb. And they just kind of cut to him being pinned. It's like, cool.
Triplemania for me is a highlight of Botchamania. It's always the longest episode.
Yeah.
Because they basically showed the whole show normally. But
nothing will ever be as bad as that 1 year where there was just constant audio fuck ups. Like,
play my fucking music.
Oh, Vampiro just asking for his music. The music that'll get these fans whipped up into a frenzy. Like, fucking Matt Striker trying so hard to justify like the music, and Vampiro just absolutely losing it. What the fucking music?
If you want to watch it again, though, you should watch it on the Vampiro documentary.
Ooh. Man, does he discuss the fart?
The fart? Oh, the fart. It shows you that bit where he's like, play my fucking music! And then it goes to like the following year where he's in Gorilla and he's basically working like the whole show and he's having to deal with Jeff Jarrett half his stats.
Throwing tacos into the crowd.
And then backstage and carrying crosses, basically looking at him going, do you want me to deal with it?
That's why he's a legend. Chris, you'll probably never listen to this.
Fuck you, Chris. I heard every word you said, motherfucker.
Just absolute disrespect. God damn it. I
had a job for 3 weeks just because I was on excursion and just wait for the bombshell I'm about to drop.
Ooh, get up, get up, get up. Yeah, the fart from Vampiro when like some chick done a dive and he's like, oh my god, she may be injured. Get a doctor down here now. Like still one of the absolute funniest moments. And then that time that fucking Ray Phoenix almost killed the wife of the AAA owner.
Well, technically she's the owner.
Well, she is now, yes.
Aye, because
He
she
passed away.
carried about his ashes.
Yeah, it's a weird promotion.
I think that's just the culture.
Yeah, it's like it probably is totally normal in that kind of culture. But like when you're looking at it from a completely different sort of aspect, it's yeah. It might seem weird to you, but obviously a ton of stuff that we do that we think is normal will probably feel very weird to them.
Aye, because I mean, you she probably looks like Paula Bearer.
Jesus Christ. Well, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. Right.
Better than never.
Yes, batter being the key word. So we get on to our, well, I would say this was the first of a double main event. Kenny Omega defends the AAA Mega Championship against Andrade El Idolo.
Woo!
Yep. So Kenny comes out. He has his big cloth entrance that he used to do in AEW, which looked badass. Conan wanders out behind him looking like he just rolled out of bed, so it was nice for him to not dress up for this occasion.
It looked as though he just finished sweeping up the floors.
Jesus Christ, man, honestly. It's like, is it that hard? Is that hard to even just chuck on like a Kenny Omega t-shirt or something?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get some at the fucking merch stand, but not in fucking Conan obese size, though.
Jesus, I can't stand Conan these days.
I'm kind of done.
Used to absolutely love the guy, like an Impact during the LAX run and all that, and now it's just
he comes across just as a leech.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it.
He just leeches onto the next big sort of up and comer, and then right, okay, they've moved on from me. Right, I'll find the next guy, leech onto them.
Oh, now I'm in AEW with Pride and Powerful again. Like, oh, they're not really that interested. Okay, I'll start my own LAX with the Blackjack and Hookers. Yeah, we'll see how that goes, and then see how quickly he drops that. So the heel ref is back, and Andrade comes out with the whole garb, with the mask and the suit and everything. And then all of a sudden, Ric fucking Flair walks out. And the pro wrestling universe collectively stood still.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knew how to react, because nobody was really cheering it. Everybody was just kind of like in shock.
Yeah, that was a gobsmack moment.
And I seen an interview with Kenny after the match. And it's fucking amazing. It's so good. Talks about how Ric Flair's done that. That's it. You're gone now, buddy. You owe somebody a lot of money. You've broke the law. You've broke a contract. X, Y, and Z. You're going to be flat broke. No more limousines. No more jets. No more Rolex watches. You're done.
I know. It makes me wonder if
somebody up in New York will be collecting.
Makes me wonder if because it was a Legends deal, they don't have to deal with a 90-day compete clause.
Also, it only applies to America.
Yeah, I was also thinking that as well. Mexico, completely different story.
Yep.
And now it's kind of because that whole story that came out the other week was Ric Flair requested his release. Clearly, they came up with that idea, and he's just like, "Fuck it, let's do it."
Aye, because I think him and Andrade have gotten really, really close. Because I've seen videos and pictures of them training together and stuff, and
yeah, fucking Ric Flair,
Ric Flair ripped AF.
Jesus, I mean, what are the odds that he's going to fucking AEW at one point in this match?
Aye.
Sting versus Flair is happening at some point.
I'm no longer referring to him as Ric Flair. I'm calling him Rip Flair.
I agree. It's insane. It's so insane. Even the suit and everything. Him cutting about in that suit. It was like the Ric Flair of old. Sometimes when you see him in WWE, he just looked so casual, even in a suit. But he looked like pure immaculate.
It looked like Evolution Ric Flair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I know that's Ric Flair a wee bit past his prime in that, but for me that's peak Flair.
Yeah, that's when I knew Ric Flair. I didn't know Ric Flair before 2002. That's when I started seeing him. So I probably missed his quite. Obviously I missed a hell of a lot of his career, but even missed all the WCW stuff. I only knew him from WWE.
You missed 3 decades.
I know. So
I don't really want to talk about this match because the match wasn't particularly good.
It wasn't terrible, but definitely did it live up to the expectations I had? Nope, absolutely not.
Yeah. And I think that's maybe also down to the heel
referee again.
Yeah, and them just not letting them just go out and be the best that they can be.
Exactly. Again, this is the whole thing of this is the biggest show in AAA's promotion. Can we drop some of this gaga stuff, the heel referee and stuff, and just let because as we kind of said earlier, that title for title women's match was a big fucking match. And then when you look at it, I'll kind of circle around to that point after we kind of talk about the ending of it. So as we mentioned, heel referee. So there was kind of things like the ref at one point, that was in the other match. In the Deanna match, there was one point where the ref drug Deanna over to the ropes when she was in a submission.
Yeah.
So it was the same sort of thing here, where there was one point where Andrade was being pinned and he put his foot on the rope, but the heel ref ignored it. So Andrade kicked out before the 3 count. Andrade hits his boot and reverse elbow combo, and I think cracked Omega square in the face, because Omega was holding his face for quite a lot of the match at the end of this. Andrade hits his LE the low DDT, but Kenny gets on the ropes. This time the ref stops the count. The ref goes down at one point. Omega tries to use the AAA title on Andrade, which brings in Ric Flair. And when I say brings in Ric Flair was already there before Kenny Omega had the spot set up. So Omega turns around at one point, sees Ric Flair, tries his best to just ignore that he was there, holds the title, and then stands there. And then stands there. And then stands there. And then turns around to look at Ric Flair like, this is the part where you take the belt. And then Ric Flair shows up and takes the belt. Oh, dear.
He's ripped, but remember, he is an old man.
He turned back to Rick there for a second.
Yeah. Ripped to Rick. Like that.
So this was an awesome part, though. So Ric Flair was in the ring. And Kenny Omega's just stuck in the middle of Andrade and Ric Flair having a big old chop fest, which is just a weird sight.
Mm-hmm.
Conan comes in, and Flair and Andrade lock in two double figure fours on
Stereo.
Thank you. On Omega and Conan. The referee comes to and spends more time trying to get Flair and Conan out of the ring. This allows Omega to hit Andrade with the championship, hits One Winged Angel, and then the ref with a speedy pin, which is another thing. Like, you can notice the cadence change during pinfalls. So, like, for Andrade, it's 1, 2. When it's Kenny Omega, it's like 1, 2, ugh.
The bit at the end after he pinned him, Kenny noticed the belt beside him, and he just throws it away and looks at the referee as if he just shat the bed. So funny.
Didn't notice that.
You didn't see anything.
Hey, look over there. It was fine. Like, I wouldn't say like it was a terrible match by any means, but definitely we had certain expectations that were not met.
Yes, but I think when it comes to AAA, we shouldn't have expectations, because if they don't fuck it up with the audio or the cameras or the moves themselves, they will botch their own booking.
Yeah. Well, you see, here's a question. Obviously, we've only seen Andrade a handful of times wrestle since he's left WWE, but I've been seeing a lot of people online saying that, like, Andrade just doesn't seem to be as confident as he used to, and, like, is still trying to find himself as this wrestler outside of WWE. Like, is that anything that comes off to you?
I could see him being uncomfortable not being with Selena anymore. But I think it's a wee bit too early to tell. I think All Out will know our answer.
Yeah, because he's got the big match with Pac.
Because if he can't have a good match with Pac, then I think
maybe a bit curtains.
Yeah, I think the jury's out.
Right, so we'll give him until All Out then, and then maybe we'll try and revisit this this sort of discussion. So this brings us on to our main event. It's Mask versus Hair. It's Psycho Clown versus Rey El Scorpion.
Psycho Loco,
Psycho Clown, Psycho Loco, Psycho Clown.
Oh, what a fun song!
Oh God, I love it so much.
It made me smile.
Oh man, I know, and it's like, it is insane that, like, it's such a fun song, and your most over face in the company is called Psycho Clown. I
think as the music is the new hip hip hop hop.
Yeah.
The new bunny song.
Dun, 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 dun. Because, like, I can only find like one copy of it on YouTube, and it's all pure mashed up to fuck. But you get your Psycho Loco, Psycho Clown bit, which is the only bit that I care about. So, no fun kind of entrance for Psycho Clown last year. Like, there was previous years where he came out with these massive, awesome, like, kind of like Hulk style fists, but they were in like the rock metal fingers. And then, like, he would point them at the crowd and they would shoot fire and everything. Like, I was wanting something like that again, but no dice, sadly.
Who was the woman with him?
That was Goya Kong, who is apparently his sister, and their father was Super Porky, who just passed away like about a month ago.
Right, okay.
Hence the jacket during the entrance.
I understood that it was like, I didn't realise that was her dad, but
I didn't know they were related either. Yeah.
I knew that it was a tribute because I heard that he had passed away.
Mm-hmm. I think they mentioned that a bit earlier in the show.
Oh, not that we would know because everything was in Espanol.
No, more so, I think they did like a bit of a... Because there was... They always seem to do something like that every year where it's like, oh, let's remember those we lost.
Right.
But it only seemed to be him this year. But at least I think it's his sister. That's what I read. So this was part of my kind of deeper dive into understanding the story going into this.
Right. So you could explain the finish to me then.
Just because I've done a deep dive into it doesn't mean I can explain the finish, but I'll try. So yeah, because like when they came out with two kids, and I assumed that Goya Kong was his wife, and that was their kids. So at least with it being his sister, it's not as weird.
No, but now I know that it's his sister. I'm like, now, okay, now please tell me what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. Well, the finish of the match came where Goya Kong comes in, like, so it's a massive brawl. There's weapons and everything involved. Psycho Clown's mask is ripped open so that he can gush blood like a motherfucker. Rey Scorpion also bleeding like a stuffed pig. Goya comes in with a hammer, gives it to her brother Psycho Clown, and then boots him square in the nards.
Yeah.
Then
that's what I don't understand even more now. I find it even more confusing.
Yeah. Like, why would you give him a weapon first?
Why would you kick him in the nuts at all if you do this loving tribute to your dads?
There has to be something deeper, like with Goya Kong, maybe, I don't know, having a crush on Rey Scorpion or something like that. Like, but it all unraveled anyway. Like with Rey gets a hold of the hammer, misses Psycho, knocks Kong out with said hammer, leading to Psycho hitting a kind of roll-up pin for the victory. Like, as I say, like, the match was fun. It was pretty entertaining. But the thing that I noticed with this was, see, for the last, like, say, 5 minutes or so of the match, it was literally just do a move. Here's a cover. 1, 2, kick out. And then the person being pinned just instantly stands up and we go transition to the next move. There was no selling.
Yeah. And
then, like, the whole thing just kind of ends with a roll-up after all these massive moves that you're kicking out of. But again...
It's a bit like the Brett Bulldog finish from 92. They were doing... They kicked out each other's finishers and everything, and then it ends with Bulldog with Earth in a sunset flap.
Yeah. At least Psycho Clown did have the form correctly, you know, legs over both arms.
Yeah.
So that looked good. After the match, Rey Scorpion shook Psycho's hand, had his daughter cut the first piece of hair off of his head.
She tried.
Yeah, and it didn't go very well. At the time...
She started greeting. I don't get... Was she crying that she couldn't do it, or was she crying that her dad no longer looks like fat Roman Reigns?
Yeah, now he looks like fat MVP. At first, like, when I first watched this, like, and then I rewatched most of it to kind of do the deeper dive, I just thought it was some random fan. So I was like, is this what Make-A-Wish is in Mexico? Is, oh, I want to cut the hair of the loser, and then, like, the refs start cutting the hair, and then they just hand this massive clump of hair to this child. It's like, enjoy your clump of hair, child. Yeah, as I say, fun match, but the no selling at the end was a bit weird. Then after the match, Clown, this was a part I got offline, so I don't know if translation works, completely, but he says those were the best beatings I've ever exchanged with an asshole. He says that while two kids bounce around in the ring covered with weapons and two people profusely bleeding.
Yeah.
And then confetti sprays everywhere. Psycho killer. Wait, no. Psycho loco, psycho clown. Oh.
Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Yeah, again, Psycho Clown has been in a lot of mask versus hair main events at Triplemania over the past couple of years. Still not lost the mask. I feel like it will eventually happen, but he is clearly like the big money draw when it comes to Triplemania. So
yeah,
and more
AAA. I will see you next year because
indeed
I couldn't watch Triplemania. Try to stay up with it.
Yeah,
it's too much.
Well, see, to be honest, also the thing is, I don't even know how to watch AAA on a regular basis if I wanted to.
Yeah, because the usual means a lot of it doesn't go up unless it has Triplemania.
And hell, this thing was...
But even if I had the option, nah.
Probably wouldn't. I would maybe dip in and out every now and again, but again, I don't have the means most of the time. Like, I just do not know how. But what we did have the means to do was watch the other show all the way on the other side of the world that was on very, very, very early Sunday morning in the UK. Why did this fucking show start so goddamn late?
Because it was on in California.
Because I assumed it was going to be like a 1 o'clock start. See, when I heard it was 4, it was like... Brr.
It's because it's California and they would have had like a 7 or 8 o'clock bell time.
So that's like... that's where the difference comes.
Eastern Standard Time in America is 5 to 6 hours behind us.
Okay.
Pacific Time, which is the West Coast, is 8 to 9.
Oof. Yeah, it was a bit of a slog. But we are talking about New Japan Resurgence. This is where Robert's time to shine.
The best episode of Strong I've ever seen.
The longest episode of Strong I've ever seen.
The longest episode of Strong I've ever seen, and the best. That's basically just felt like a Strong super show.
Yeah, which I think is what they were going for.
Because I think, because with all of the ads and stuff, they're really trying to expand into America, and I think Strong's the best way to go for it.
Yeah, like pepper in some New Japan talent, and then have your own guys be a main attraction. Like this wasn't, as I was kind of alluding to, this was not the equivalent of the time that New Japan came over to the UK and done shows with Rev Pro. They were like glorified Rev Pros featuring New Japan talent.
Yeah, or they done a show 2 years ago in London.
Like, that was a proper New Japan show.
Yeah. Riddled with audio pash.
Oh, was that bad? I didn't even watch it.
I've not been able to watch I've not been able to watch it in its entirety because of how bad the audio quality is, and that's on New Japan World.
So it was never fixed?
No, never fixed.
Was that the Australian guy?
No, that was Kevin Kelly.
Oh, right, jeez.
That wasn't Gino.
It sounded like you were putting on a bit of an Australian accent while you were doing that.
No, it was just everything was muffled, but it was also too loud and crackly. And, Oh, it was. Yeah.
Maybe we should have just went instead.
But
wouldn't have had to deal with that.
I think they've got it right this time around. Now they're trying to break into America. They're establishing wrestlers that normally wouldn't be a draw on Strong. People like Adrian Quest and Danny Limelight, stuff like that. Because New Japan went over to America to do a New Beginning tour in the USA.
Yeah.
And there was no Tanahashi, no Okada, no Naito, no Ibushi. None of the big stars were there. Your main event was like Juice. It was strong. They've set up characters. They've set up storylines with people that you normally wouldn't give a fuck about. They're making them sort of names. Because I mean, like what, 3 people from that were on Strong last year were signed this year, and 2 have been released already.
Yeah.
So there's eyes on Strong.
Yeah, and no doubt they'll come back, and they'll probably even have that wee bit of extra clout now that they've had, like, the E-Rub.
I don't know. Maybe Shibata would say, fuck yous. Yous fucked off. Yous could have been here and made something special, but no. You went and fucked it.
I don't know. I think, what was his name? Zane?
Alex Zane.
Alex Zane. He's a fucking hell of a talent. Remember just a fucking couple of weeks ago, I like posted in the chat, oh yeah, watch out for these 4 guys.
Ari Sterling. And
Ari Sterling was one of them. Asher Hale was another one. Those 2 got released. So I now have 2 of those guys still in the company, being Grayson Waller and Ike Manjiro. But yeah, like considering
Rust Taylor or Taylor
Tyler Rust.
I call him Rust because that's what he was in New Japan. He was in the Diamond Mine and he got released.
Yeah, I know. Like this was the whole thing with the recent cuts, was the fact that there were people literally doing things, and especially like Tyler Rust. He was part of the new faction that came in, and now the faction is still going on without him. And it's just like, are you ever going to reference the fact that he's gone? Yeah. Or are you just gonna slide somebody else into that position and just pretend that they were there the whole time? Or
haven't they already though? If I'm not mistaken, is Rich Holland not part of the Diamond Mine now?
No, he's kind of back with his.
Oh, is he back with Dunn and Birch and Lorcan?
Dunn and Lorcan because Birch is out.
Aye, that squad, I mean.
But yeah, that squad, yeah. As I kind of said to you, the first couple of matches I didn't really take much notes of, but you says that you like absolutely loved this first match of Alex Coughlin versus Carl Fredericks. So why don't you take the floor in this one?
I didn't take any notes. I just sat and enjoyed the show.
Yeah. But just tell us what you really enjoyed about it.
I'll tell you. Let thou tell you a tale.
Oh. Okay, I'm sitting there with my hands under my chin, like all.
Alex Coughlin, Carol Fredericks, and Clark Connors.
I've already mispronounced the guy's name. I said Coughlin.
Alex Coughlin, Carl
Coughlin.
Fredericks, and Clark Connors were the three new. They were the original of this new iteration of the LA Dojo. They were the first three young lions.
Okay.
Two have graduated,
Mm-hmm.
and they all started at the same time, leaving Alex Coughlin basically the senior head lion. So these challenge matches, because they said it was an Alex Coughlin challenge match, he's doing a series of matches where he's fighting different opponents. And
like
I think
like that big guy in New Japan for a while when he was a young boy. What was his name? He's kind of like almost like dressed like a Viking now. Really big lad.
Okan?
Not Okan.
It's like a Viking now.
Like he's kind of got like the tassel, kind of like almost like what Karrion Kross wears. It's like one name.
Is he on Excursion?
No, this was ages ago in in actual New Japan. Like it was this massive Batista looking dude. I think he had like one name. I think it begin with H. Haruma? Is that name? Hanare. That's the one. Yeah, because he had a series. He had like a series of like big challenge matches where he kept wrestling like big guys, big as in like high profile. So it's the same kind of thing with this.
Yeah, and which by the end of the series, I think he will graduate. But
so is it a case of him having to win these to graduate, or is it just a case of put on a good show?
Put on a good show normally is what it is, because over in Japan, Yota Tsuji and someone we'll talk about later, Yuya Uemura.
Okay.
They done it over in Japan, where they had 10 matches, and it was like against Okada, against Shingo, people like that. And then at the end, that's them now on Excursion.
Okay.
So that's why later on in the night, Yuya Uemura's at Resurgence, and now he's on Excursion in America through the LA Dojo.
Sweet.
But the story of this one is because Carl Fredericks was the first to graduate, and Alex Coughlin's still to graduate, and they started at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex Coughlin's got a bit of chip in his shoulder.
Yeah.
But it was hard hitting, sweat was flying. Oh, I could have sworn the Never belt was on the line, and it was the big boys.
Yeah. Well, there was this one point where Coughlin did this bridging body slam, and it looked like he almost snapped his spine in half.
Aye, and that's what they said. Look at the size of that neck. Thank God he's got that neck.
Yeah. Because I think he didn't hit that probably as flush as he wanted to.
No, it didn't look it either, but it was just great. It's great. Oh, I don't know what else to say. I mean, even him going for fucking Fredericks going for Manifest Destiny, Coughlin knew how to counter it near enough every time until he got the shit kicked out of him.
So is that the Impaler DDT that Fredericks won the match with?
Yeah, that's Manifest Destiny. That's his finish.
Nice. Next week we had some 6-man tag team action as TJP, Ren, Narita, and crackhead Hangman Page. Clark Connors.
Oh no, the Wild Rhino.
He just looked like when he came out, I was like, oh, you look like an L Hangman.
Aye, but he fucking wrestles just as good as a good Hangman.
Yeah.
Connors is great. Connors is good.
They took on the team of best friend Wheeler Yuta, Rocco Romero, and Mr. No Days Off, Fred Rosser.
I was wanting to ask you this last night, but I thought, no, we'll wait until we're recording. Do you see a difference between Fred Rosser and Darren Young?
Yeah, I think I do. Like, obviously more than just like the kind of gimmick, like, but like obviously Darren Young was a bit of a look at me, anti-funny kind of thing, and but like Fred Rosser obviously significantly more serious as a wrestler. It looks like as a human being, he's taken the sport of pro wrestling more seriously now, and I think with the places that he's appearing, being New Japan Strong and the NWA, like this is like the kind of places that he's looking to show that he is more than just the sports entertainer that he used to be. So yeah, like it's because I was like at first when you were like, oh, Darren Young that appeared on Strong, I was like and I'm not all the way there yet on him, but it's definitely every time it's changing my opinion.
Yeah, as someone that's seen every single episode of New Japan Strong, probably one of the very few.
Yeah.
There is, if you watch his first appearance on Strong to that 6-man tag, it's night and day. I think the big changing point from was his feud that he had with Hikuleo.
Okay.
Because they had like a series of matches. One was a first round New Japan Cup match. One was just a straight up singles. Then the other one was a street fight. And I think that feud sort of helped the two of them.
Yeah.
Sort of evolve into being more suited to the sort of New Japan style and booking.
Yeah, like I think, well, because this is one thing you kind of asked was, watching this show, has this made you more interested in watching Strong? And I was like, well, yeah, it really has. Like, I think like I would probably definitely try and slip this into the old sketch at some point, because like I didn't take many notes on the Alex what's his name? Sorry,
Alex Coughlin.
Sorry, I still have the Coughlin on my screen, and Carl Fredericks match, but like obviously the two of them like were quite impressive, and then like seeing like all the other kind of talent that we've got here, you know, like your Wheeler Yuta, your TJP, just in this match, like and Fred Rosser, who I'm turning the old corner on. I do want to see more of this. I want to see like what else they can do in like this different environment, because like they do seem to wrestle differently on these kind of shows than they do, like say on Impact or AEW when they appear. So like it is nice to see different sides of some of these wrestlers.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys on the undercard are all Strong regulars. So you do get to know them a bit more because they sort of run it the way that NXT used to be. It's like you'd see somebody 1 week and then you wouldn't see them for like a couple of weeks, but then they'd pop up again just because the way they do the tapings.
Yeah, and then sometimes that's better because you know, like you're not constantly seeing the same people every week, and then that makes you look forward to the next appearance of that person because it won't be for a couple of weeks.
But I think all that will be changing now because they done the adverts for basically Autumn Attack and Battle in the Valley, things like that. So these are
they announced a lot of
shows.
So are they meant to be like sort of pay-per-views, or at least like kind of shows like this?
I think.
Or bigger shows?
I think they're taping. These will be taped ones for Strong.
Okay.
So they'll tape them and then they'll air them.
Right. But yeah, because like the first
I could be wrong.
the first two they announced, like I'm just skipping ahead to this because I did take a note of it, is Arm Attack, which is on September 25th, 26th. So clearly that's like next week sometime.
September.
Like maybe no. Wait, I got confused as to what fucking month we're in. So it's about a month from now.
It's said because it's the 2 days thing.
Yeah.
That's what makes me think tapings.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I was going to say as well, was because it's 2 days back to back, say 3 hour shows, boom, that's 6 episodes, maybe even 7 episodes you can churn out. That's a month and a half of tapings, because then you've got New Japan Showdown, which is on October 16th, 17th, which is the same kind of thing. So wouldn't be surprised if Arm Attack leads up to Showdown, and then that happens again. And then you've got like Battle in the Valley, which is November 13th, and then Detonation on November 15th. And I think Detonation sounds like it's a pay-per-view.
They done a Detonation last year for New Japan. Each episode of New Japan Strong's got like a name.
Okay.
It's like New Japan Strong Road to something, or New Japan Strong the Rat. It's like not the Road to show, it's the actual show now.
Okay.
So they'd have like Road to Detonation for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd get 2 weeks of Detonation.
Okay.
Same with New Japan Showdown. They done that last year. They had maybe 2 or 3 weeks of Road to New Japan Showdowns, and then they done 2 weeks of New Japan Showdown on Strong.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with this. So it's just like the fact that like they aired this for like obviously for ticket sales and all that, but it'd be interesting to see what actually comes of it.
Because see how if they change Strong to it's not only an hour anymore, it's longer. I might be out.
Yeah, because that was part of the endearing thing for you.
Because it doesn't take up too much time. You're in and out in an hour. You want to watch more because it's only giving you in like that hour. But if I had more, I'd probably be like, oh.
I know, like that's the thing. Like it's bad these days when you look at a wrestling show and you go, "Oh, good, it's only this long."
Yeah.
Instead of, "Oh, awesome, this is a 4-hour card."
Yeah. It's how things have changed.
I
remember when I was like 13, 14, buzzing. Oh my God, Raw is 3 hours this week. It's going to be so good.
And now it's 3 hours every week and you don't even watch it.
No, I couldn't give a fuck. I don't even watch highlights.
I've not even watched Raw today yet. It's probably what I'm going to do after we finish this, but yeah, the ending for the 6-man tag came with there was one part of the match where Rocky hits a sloppy double hurricanrana. This continues my argument of that move sucks, and I hate when people do it.
Yeah, it's not the best move to do, but it is still a bit of a spectacle.
I never liked it.
But the fact that he can jump up in the air, spread his legs that wide.
I know, but as I say, like as the believability of a move, like I know the whole suspend your disbelief, yada yada. That's just the one thing. Like when it's a regular hurricanrana, oh yeah, I can believe that until the fucking cows come home. That's a completely legitimate maneuver. When it's with 2 people, though, like that's where the believability starts to lose me a little. But the end of the match came with Clark Connors. He plants Romero in the middle of the ring for TJP to hit the Mamba Splash for Clark Connors to get the victory.
Did you understand what the story was in the match, what the real feud was in the match?
I don't know if I did, so do you want to enlighten us a wee bit?
Ren Narita feels disrespected by Fred Rosser.
Okay. Why is that? Okay, I'll fill here for a second.
Because we had a match on Strong. Rosser. And after the match, Rosser basically, ruffled his hair. Good job.
So it's kind of
Hey, good luck. And Narita misconstrued as disrespect.
Yeah. Well, I think like when another man ruffles your hair like that, it can seem as disrespectful.
So then, a couple of weeks ago, there was another altercation within a tag match where Ren Narita was being very much of a dick. And Fred Rosser's whole gimmick is block the hate. He hates bullies, and he feels like Ren Narita was acting like a bit of a bully just because he could. So these two, it's just comes across as just miscommunication, almost a culture clash between the two. So
that's a good way to describe it.
It's they're stuck in this head-on collision and they can't get out of it. So it's interesting. It's nice that you're not beat over the head with, oh my god, he stole his girlfriend. It's a bit more simple and a lot more nuanced, where the story's there if you want it. Otherwise, you can just watch it as just these two kicking the utter shit out each other.
Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting in a way. Like, because I think, like, as I said, the way that you kind of described it as it's a culture clash that's what makes it interesting. It's kind of like that whole thing that we were kind of discussing earlier when it comes to AAA and their sort of stuff. It's like we find some of this stuff a bit odd, but it seems very normal there. That might just be the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
With Rosser, just be like, oh, good job, while we sort of hair tussle, and it's like, oh, that's nice. But then, like, because of like Ren's way of like being in the dojo and all that stuff, like,
yeah,
being completely different, he obviously took it the wrong way. But no, that's kind of interesting, and I don't know if I'll be able to watch every episode, but I am starting to be tempted to try and catch up in Strong.
It's a good show. You're in an hour, the wrestling's good. Yes, the crowds aren't there yet. But it's just, it's you're in and out in an hour. Nothing overstays its welcome.
Has there been any discussion of when fans are coming back for Strong? Or is it just going to be like the next set of tapings?
I think that's what these tapings are for.
So is there going to be tapings between now and then?
I think
kind of on a small hiatus.
I think they've filmed enough to cover them. Because Kenta was on an episode of Strong, and then on the same day as that Strong episode aired, he was in Japan doing a Road 2 show.
Okay.
So they've got a lot in the bank.
Right. So it'll just kind of all bleed into each other eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. So next up was a 10-man tag with Adrian Quest, Chris Dickinson, Fred Yehai, Leo Rush, and Yuya Uemura, taking on Team Filthy of Danny Limelight, Jarrell Nelson, Royce Isaacs, JR Kratos, and Tom Lawler. So out of these 10 men, the only person I haven't heard of is Adrian Quest. So fill us up with some Adrian Quest knowledge.
Adrian Quest is a New Japan Strong journeyman.
Okay.
He has been through the ringer. Best way maybe to describe him to you is up until about 2 months ago, it was the Barry Horowitz of New Japan Strong.
Interesting.
Where he
Your
was
company jobber.
He was just essentially he was a jobber, but at the same time it was a jobber that impressed you.
An indecent jobber.
Like it would always pull something out to make you go, oh! And his moveset, like, I know it's maybe a wee bit of sort of judgmental thinking here, but his moveset and his body type shouldn't mix. But they do, because he just looks like a regular guy.
Yeah.
He's not fucking jacked up, fucking muscly. He's no skinny, like cruiserweight or anything. He just looks like a normal dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I really like about him.
He's like your average Joe kind of guy.
Yeah, he's essentially, he's just your average man, your everyman.
Yeah, and then like that kind of gimmick, just when you're an everyman, like is like really relatable for a lot of people.
His look is everyman. His abilities are fucking, they're off the chart. He's great.
Yeah, that's a different story.
He's been feuding with another New Japan Strong, what I would call jobber, called Barrett Brown.
Okay.
They used to team up a lot, always getting beat. Barrett Brown eventually took the huff that he was getting beat all the time and turned heel on Adrian Quest.
How'd that work out for him?
All right.
Winning now?
He's won a few. Adrian Quest since then has also won a few.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these are two guys that have sort of been with it at the beginning, and where
this is the Brandon Cutler Pierre Avalon storyline.
But they've been building them up for so long, and now that they're like, you go, oh, that's when you watch New Japan, it's not just, oh, there's Barrett Brown, all right, we know what's going to happen. It's, oh shit, there's Barrett Brown, there's Adrian Quest. They're actually doing something with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everyone's got a story.
There's nobody there not for a reason.
Yeah.
I said that weird.
Even Mysterioso, he's not really involved in any stories, but when he's there, he kind of, it's kind of hard to describe Mysterioso.
I've seen Mysterioso once on Dark. He's like a giant hulking Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, it's like if Scott Steiner put on a Rey Mysterio mask in a way.
I think that's what people said about him when they seen him on Dark, because he was gigantic, but with a Rey Mysterio mask.
His nickname is Big Pappy Pump.
I see what you've done there.
No, that's his nickname.
No, that's what I mean. I'm saying I see what you've done there to him.
All right. But he just normally just shows up and wrestles. But it's still entertaining. But it sounds a lot like what fucking Grand Metalik used to do when he was in New Japan. He'd always just show up in the first like 2 or 3 matches, do some awesome shit, but was never involved in anything. He was just there to be awesome lucha guy. Yeah. But no, Adrian Quest was actually the alternate for this match.
Yeah, they were saying on commentary that he replaced someone.
I replaced Brody King.
Ah, that's right, because Brody injured.
Yes? I think so. I think it happened at Ring of Honor.
Eesh.
But I don't think it's a serious injury.
Yeah, just a minor one. Because obviously I would probably say that ROH is his bread and butter when it comes to pro wrestling. So even if it's a minor injury, and he could maybe wrestle through it, probably best not to. Because they've got a pay-per-view coming up soon.
Mm-hmm. But I would say that he's the lead of a faction in Ring of Honor.
Yes.
Violence Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
But I think New Japan are very fucking high on him because he's nearer. See, if there's a main event on Strong normally, there's like a 75% chance he's in it.
Yeah, Brody is an interesting character, to say the least, from the few times that I've seen him. And he also made a cameo in the Netflix show I Think You Should Leave. If you've ever seen that, it's a comedy sketch show. Very, very funny.
I'll have a wee check out.
Yeah, you should. I'm just quickly checking when the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view is. I think it's Ring of Honor.
They're not Saturday?
Is it? Oh, that would be bad if it was Saturday.
Something makes me think that they're going head-to-head with SummerSlam for some reason.
Right, let's see.
I think it's Glory by Honor.
Right, let's search that. Glory by Honor.
2021, because there's a Glory by Honor every year.
It will take place on August 20th and 21st.
Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, so there you go. Like, night one's on Friday. It says, Glory by Honor will begin on Friday the 20th of October and end on Saturday the 21st of August. I was like, fucking hell, that's a long pay-per-view.
Your night one's main event's a steel cage match.
Yes. But yeah, because I watched Best in the World.
Yeah.
And so that's got fucking Matt Taven against Vincent.
Yeah.
Who used to be in the faction together.
Yeah, the Kingdom.
Yeah. And I think Taven has like a world title shot that he's putting on the line against Vincent in the cage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the main event for night 2 is Bandito defending the ROH title against Flip Gordon.
No, like Flip.
Oh, Flip's an asshole.
Fair enough. Well, I was about to ask, would you be interested in watching some Ring of Honor? But Jesus Christ, if it's fucking this coming weekend, then it may not be the case unless like we put it off by a week.
I'll tell you what. How about we watch the cage match, since it will be Ring of Honor's first cage match in like 7 years?
Yeah. I mean, because again, with the new format change that I've been alluding to recently, this opens a lot more doors for us. Dropping weekly TV, probably would not have been able to talk about AAA. Probably wouldn't have been able to talk about New Japan Resurgence if we were still going to be covering TV.
Yeah.
So it's kind of things like where we can take avenues like Ring of Honor and MLW and all that hoopla. It opens the palette.
Yeah, shine a wee light on those wee promotions that we wouldn't normally sit and talk about that we probably watch.
Yeah. So during this match, there was this awesome moment where Team Filthy had like that photo op to where just all 5 of them posed, and then Kratos is just standing in the background, just holding a guy.
Yeah, holding Umura, I
think so. Yeah.
Aye, Team Filthy are just fucking assholes on Strong. Utter assholes.
But it's brilliant though. Like, Tom Lawler is something else.
Aye. Chris Dickinson, former member of Team Filthy. Was
on Strong or just in general?
On Strong.
Okay.
Was kicked out for challenging Tom Lawler for the Strong Openweight Championship right after he won it.
Uh-oh.
Then about a week later, he was the sole survivor in an elimination tag match, getting the win for Team Filthy, and they kicked him out the group.
Great. There was this awesome pop-up double stomp that Kratos done using Danny Limelight, which was pretty badass. They
were like before the West Coast West Coast Wrecking Crew joined Team Filthy. They were your sort of tag team within Team Filthy. They've had a lot of time working together and coming up with creative double team moves and stuff.
Yeah, like it is weird. Like this is the thing. It's so strange. Like watching all these promotions and seeing all these people do completely different things and like all these promotions, but yet are at base the same character.
Yeah, like Danny Limelight in New Japan is part of Team Filthy, but in MLW he's an LAX.
Yeah, and AEW is a jobber. But then seeing Kratos as the defiant tag team partner of and NWA tag team champion with Aaron Stevens. But then here he's an absolute fucking badass.
Oh yeah, he's a lot better than what I thought he was. So I watched him for months, and I've just thought, oh, you're just supposed to be the big guy that eventually gets put down, but he's more than that.
Nah,
very talented.
Yeah, Kratos is awesome, and knowing that he's in this company, like it does make me more interested, just purely for him, because I always really quite liked the guy, but NWA is that weird kind of promotion where like you always have short matches, so he never really gets to show what he can do for the most part, other than on pay-per-views.
Like 15 to 20 is maybe about your longest match on Strong.
But like that's a hell of a lot more than what you would get in NWA. You're looking at about 6-7 minutes if you're lucky with some matches.
Yeah.
But Kratos goes for a splash on the apron at one point. No, he goes splash on the apron because he got thrown off the top rope. And then Yumura with a double arm suplex with a bridge on the limelight, which gets a pretty big win for Yumura.
Yep, and that's him now officially. It was on Excursion, but this is him now officially on Excursion. Because after the match, she called out Shibata. And I think it's the first time Shibata has been in front of an audience since he was second in Kenta before Kenta joined Bullet Club during the G1 a few years ago.
Yeah.
But he's just, oh, holy shit, it's Shibata! And Shibata does his thing where he's bringing someone into the LA dojo. Come with me! He done it to a wrestler called the DKC, who started off just as like a sort of Adrian Quest
Donkey Kong Country?
Aye, Donkey Kong Country. And eventually just started, look, I need to get better, I need to get stronger. Is that Shibata-san? Let me join the dojo. And he just came out with the t-shirt and just went, come with me! So like, that's the thing. Now, if he tells you to come with me, that means you're in the dojo.
That's the insert wrestler here is all elite of New Japan Strong.
Yeah, that's it.
This is the part now where we start getting into the bit of heavy hitter matches.
The meat and potatoes.
With some gravy on top for some of this. We get Juice Robinson versus Hikuleo in a Uno on Uno contest.
Hikuleo's getting better.
Yeah. I actually kind of like him, considering like I've seen 2 matches of his at this point. He worked a squash match on Dark like last week, and then he had the match with Lance Archer. So, my kind of knowledge of this guy has been quite small, but this was a pretty decent match, as much as I can enjoy a Juice Robinson match, I guess.
The interesting thing about Hikuleo is he is a member of Bullet Club, but at the same time, he's a young lion. He's
So is this him on an excursion?
Yeah. He was over here in the UK doing shows and that as part of his excursion. He was doing like Discovery and that.
Interesting.
He was over in the UK and now I think he's finishing up.
The more you know.
So they don't refer to him as a young lion, they call him a young gun.
See, that's perfect.
Yeah. But I think he's one of the very few young lions that's been in a faction while they were a young lion.
Yeah, because that's what threw me off when you told me that was, but he's part of a faction. Like, you're not part of a faction until you become
a member of the Great Muster, until you graduate.
Yeah. I know. So that's quite an interesting little tidbit that he's like. I mean, he obviously kind of comes with the family ties, though. I would imagine.
With Tamatonga and Tangaloa.
Yeah, the God.
Even the baby brother.
You wouldn't think at it by looking at them.
Nah, he's the baby.
That's nuts. So during the match, there was a big power slam from Hikuleo that gets a close 2 count. Juice is on top, but Hiku bumps the ropes, which causes Juice to fall. There's a point where Juice gets a power bomb in Hikuleo to turn the tide. The Tongan driller gets countered in a roll up by Juice Robinson, which gets the victory. And Hikuleo attacks and chokeslams Juice after the match, giving some heat.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, so much.
I mean, it's like Juice's first singles match in any form in New Japan since the New Japan Cup in March. And I think the commentators mentioned it as well, that's what I was going to say. Finjuice, that he might be at a wee bit of a disadvantage because he's been working tag matches predominantly rather than singles.
Yeah, they did say that because that was something that I picked up on, and I was kind of like, yeah, you're right. Like, obviously, every time we see them in Impact, it's Finjuice. Like, I don't. Juice might have maybe had one singles match in Impact.
With Doc. General Dangley.
Oh, General Dangley versus Joe Doran this week.
I'm kind of buzzing.
I don't know. Big meaty boy slapping meat.
That's a Joe Doran face.
It's a good one. All you need is a
cowboy hat.
A cowboy hat, and then that's you got your Halloween outfit.
Cowboy hat and a fur jacket.
And a little feather. He's got a little feather or something like sticking out his cowboy hat. But this is the part where we start ramping the shit up to a next level. Because we had Tomohiro Ishii versus Moose.
Ishii got the shit kicked out of him.
Moose got the shit kicked out of him.
I mean, if we were going percentage wise with this match, Moose was on top. Was what 75%?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I have like one note that sums up about the first like half of this match, and it was just Moose dominates the early going. Like Ishii could hardly get fucking hit in because Moose was beating the hell out of him that much.
I wish Chris could see this Moose because this is the Moose that I think that we see.
Yeah.
Since you sort of clocked it at hard to kill in the 6 man, that Moose can actually, when Moose can be bothered, he's really good.
Yeah. And it's really changed my viewing of Moose over the past sort of like 8 months. Yeah, because I knew he had it in him because like he was really good in like Ring of Honor, and then like he just kind of came to I think it was TNA. No, I think it was Impact by the time he showed up. And then it just seemed as if he just got really stagnant.
Yeah, he just kind of sort of floundered.
Like, it's very Randy Orton-esque in a way, where he got maybe too comfortable with just doing the bare minimum.
Yeah, it was getting him by.
Yeah, and then he just kind of flipped that switch on at Hard to Kill, and it seems as if like that switch got jammed on the on position.
Yeah, it's just been great ever since.
But this was the best Moose match I've ever seen.
Yeah, like I liked that they talked about the first match that they had 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
And it took, what was it they said? It took Ishii
6 minutes or something?
8
minutes
to beat him.
Yeah.
Now 5 years on, it's took him double that time.
Mm-hmm. So it's like he still beat him, but
he still beat him, but it shows in like the world in New Japan, it's right. Moose has gotten a lot better. That it's now taking Ishii double the time to beat him than he did the first time, when Moose was only in wrestling really about a year at the time.
Yeah. Kind of want to go back and watch that match now.
I'm sure I might have it actually somewhere. I'll have a look.
Yeah, hit us up and then we can take a look, since it's such a short match as well. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, so this is the part where shit starts going down, because Ishii attempts to suplex Moose but can't get it done, which is the kind of thing he keeps going for throughout the match. Ishii gets the suplex after a stiff forearm to the face of Moose. Then there's this part where the two of them just start doing double running lariats at each other. Like, they both hit the first one, they both stumble, they both rear up and then go at it again, which causes a double down. Not the KFC sandwich, although that is delicious. Moose with the run up the corner, spinning crossbody, and a powerbomb for a deep 2 count. Ishii's on the second, then Moose hits a drop kick and a choke bomb for another close 2 count. Moose connects with spinning lariat on Ishii, but Ishii kicks out at 1, but kind of stumbles getting back up. Like, he kind of tried to power out strongest style, but no, fighting spirit, that's the one I'm looking for. But it did take a hell of a lot out of him. Moose misses the spear, he gets Germaned right on his taped up shoulder. Ishii then with a beast of a lariat for 2 that turns Moose inside out. There's a Uranage by Moose.
Uranage.
And then attempts the Riptide Lariat, but Ishii blocks. Ishii hits the sliding lariat, only gets 2. Ishii finally gets Moose up, but drops him back down again. He then attempts a second, and finally gets him up. Hits the brainbuster. 1, 2, 3. Awesome shit.
Yeah, this match did not disappoint. This was everything I wanted.
When I heard this match was announced, I was like, right, this may be the match of the card. Since there was a change to the main match that intrigued me in this show in the first place.
Yeah.
So my other half came in, tried to be super quiet to get the clothes horse. So she's just very awkwardly walking like she shit herself.
All right, I thought you were going to say she's now riding the clothes horse out of the room.
Because she's a witch. So after this, we get a surprise, a massive surprise.
A fucking belter there surprise.
Because Will Ospreay returns to New Japan.
Yep.
But
4 months.
Spent 4 months from
surgery.
From a broken neck. He is cleared to wrestle. And he says, just in time for the biggest tournament in New Japan, because the G1's coming up. So you know what? Will Ospreay will not be in the G1.
Yeah.
He then goes on to say that after only 4 months of not holding the title, he was stripped of the belt. But yet they allowed Moxley to hold on to the US title for over a year, and he never defended it once.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it is absolutely true. It then reveals that he still has the IWGP title, and he's going to defend it against anyone. But he is not going back to Japan
yet.
Yeah, he says he's going to stay here.
I think I know what the script has.
Are we looking at Wrestle Kingdom?
I'm looking at Wrestle Kingdom, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever wins the G1 faces the champion. Night 1. Night 2, you need to fight Ospreay. Proof. Since technically, in Ospreay's words, Shingo as the interim champion, right?
Yeah.
And Shingo's my boy.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't not agree with this pro.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho held the Intercontinental title for what?
For like 6 months. Defended it twice. Once against Evil.
And then the second defense at Wrestle Kingdom, which wasn't a successful defense.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the normal rule in New Japan when it comes to titles is normally if you can't defend it within 6 months, you're stripped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like Mox was going to defend the US title. He couldn't make it to Japan, and then they stripped him immediately the first time. And then he won it back and then held it for a year. So like the fact that like Mox had already been stripped of the belt once, and then they refused to do it for a second time, when it was probably even more legitimate the second time than the first time.
Well, the first time was because they had a typhoon.
Yeah.
There's no flights going into Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But
like, see, that would be the occasion where it's like, I'm sorry, this ain't my fault. The Mother Nature's decided to turn its back on us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't have stripped him off it the first time.
Yeah.
Second time during the pandemic, where it could have been at Strong, it could have been defending it on AEW.
I know, it's almost like they got the memo too late to start doing that.
Yeah. But I cannot fault a word that Ospreay said in this promo.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, when it comes to heel wrestlers, like, the annoying thing is heel wrestlers make the most amount of sense.
I think say if you want to be a successful heel, you have to believe what you're doing is right. You're in the right. Otherwise...
But see, when you're a successful heel, you believe what you're doing is right, and then most of the crowd are like, God, I hate to say it, but God damn, I hate the fact that guy's right. Yeah, like that makes it. That's the quintessential bit. That's the cherry on top. That's especially like the people that don't even like Will Ospreay. And they're like, oh, God damn, he's right. I hate it when he's right. That makes me hate him more.
But with him now saying that he's going to be on Strong, Tom Lawler is no longer the top dog on New Japan Strong.
No, yeah, because that's what he said. Is like, it's probably about time that Strong actually had some talent on this show, which is the kind of
Tom Lawler's your champion in Strong, essentially.
Mm-hmm. But this is the part of the broadcast brought out Fredericks and Connors. TJP then comes out to try and hold them back, and Will Ospreay pretty much calls TJP a babysitter.
Yeah, because he, as the original sort of incarnation of the LA Dojo, TJP was a part of it. He's a legit OG.
Yeah, so he's sort of got on Osprey's face. Osprey backed off, picked up his belt, grabbed the mic again, and went, "Oh, just babysitter," and then ran away.
He threw his water bottle at him,
Yeah.
completely masked, but then just fucking flounced over that guardrail, through the ropes, over that guardrail as if it was nothing.
Just into the
the
LA night.
like the Osprey of old.
Mhm.
Progress Osprey, just how fluid he was.
How dicky she was.
Aye, that too. That, yeah. But no, just New Japan Strong is already. It's already part of my week. But now it's like, you'll be getting watched before Rampage.
Ooh. Well, this again goes back to the part of like, because I want to know when the stuff is done for after this, because this will obviously be the stuff that will be like the most important.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying like there's obviously stuff in the can, like it's just clearly going to be matches. But I'm now intrigued and like the stories coming out of this show.
Yeah, but the thing is though, Strong's been taped behind closed doors.
Yeah, so you can progress storylines regardless.
Yeah. So they could have already had like Osprey and all that already on Strong, and nobody knows about it. So this could just easily go on to next week, if that's the case.
And then Osprey's already there.
Yeah, I'll watch it on Saturday, because it goes up at like 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So I'll watch it on Saturday morning when I get up, and I'll text you and I'll let you know if
let us know.
It's just a complete sort of continuation.
See, I'm still in two minds about Rampage this week. Do I want to go to bed for a couple hours, get up, watch it, then go back to bed, then go to work? Or do I just sleep, go to work, try and get done as quickly as possible to get home and watch it?
And risk spoilers.
Yeah, exactly.
Because let's face it, if what we think is going to happen, the internet's going to fucking explode.
Exactly. And I'm in
no way of avoiding it.
I'm in like enough fucking Facebook and WhatsApp chats that like they will be talking about it as it happens. I think it may need to be done. Hell, like I got up at like fucking 3 a.m. a couple of years ago to watch the final of BattleBots, so that I didn't get that spoiled for me. So if I'm willing to do it for BattleBots, I think I'm willing to do it for CM Punk's potential pro wrestling return.
They might completely fucking swerve you, and it might not be Punk, it might be the other one.
Fandango?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But anyway, we'll kind of harp back to that afterwards. So next up was Jon Moxley and his mystery partner taking on the Good Brothers. Now, obviously, I read ages ago that it was Sami Callihan. This was the match originally that had me completely up for watching this show. So my question is, what the hell happened to Sami Callihan? Because I tried to look online and I just heard absolutely nothing about
it. I couldn't tell you. I know that he's got his own show now.
Oh yeah, the Impact show?
Yeah, he's got his own Impact show. So I don't know if maybe during the match at Slammiversary, maybe picked up a wee injury and this is their way of keeping him in the loop.
But he did wrestle after that. Granted, it was like a 6-man tag or something, so
I don't know. I can't explain it to you.
I know. It's just upsetting because like Was really looking forward to that. So they built up this big mystery partner, and then it was Yuji Nagata.
But at the same time, see if it was Kingston though, you wouldn't go, oh well, that's not exactly a mystery.
Well, yeah, because they even said that in commentary. It's like, oh, I thought it was going to be Kingston because they hold a victory on AEW against them, and it's like at least that would be good logic, and it would be kind of surprising because Kingston isn't part of New Japan. Like, I just think like it's that thing I said to you on chat the other day of like, don't get me wrong, love Eugene Nagata. He's fucking awesome, fucking 53-year-old fucking badass. But just like if he's like on the roster, it's not a massive surprise. And I feel like it really deflated just with the constant amount of released WWE talent, and then you're advertising a mystery man. Everybody's head's going to go to it needs to be somebody new to the roster. So then when they announce Yuji Nagata is kind of deflating.
I think you've still got your Slammiversary head on.
Probably, but I don't know, just because it's that kind of thing of like, there are tons of people, like, I don't know if Buddy Murphy's contract was up yet. But
Buddy Murphy!
I feel like Strong may be a good place for him.
Oh, Strong would be a fucking amazing place for him.
Mm-hmm.
I've already got like fucking 5 matches in my head for Buddy Murphy.
Ooh, Minoru.
Not on Strong.
Yes, at Wrestle Kingdom.
Ah.
Mm.
See, I would even do Minoru versus Buddy Murphy at Wrestle Kingdom. If I was going to put Buddy Murphy in a match at Wrestle Kingdom, I would maybe put him in with Tai Chi.
Interesting.
Because Tai Chi's been fucking baller lately.
And Tai Chi's always baller.
Like, it doesn't really have the same match twice.
Mm-hmm.
There was a match that he had in the G1 last year with Ibushi, and it was all just kicks. They just kicked the shit out of each other, literally. It was fucking awesome. So
I love how Tai Chi will never die.
With Tai Chi's striking abilities and Buddy Murphy and his mad knees, I think that could be really good.
I like it. Yeah, so Yuji Nagata was the partner for Mox.
Justice.
I mean, I still gave him the old salute when he came out because he still deserves it.
I wasn't mad at
it. Yeah, I mean, I still fucking awesome. But just as I say, like, anytime a mystery person is announced, you always go to, it has to be somebody new. So I feel like when it comes to somebody, it's like, oh, it's him that's been here.
Look at it this way, right? It's still not the worst mystery partner ever revealed.
I mean, it's not the Shock Master.
No, I was talking more Savio Vega.
Yeah, there's that. Or Cute Kip.
Oh, yeah, Beautiful People.
No, but like, he was part of the Beautiful People at the time and then got bumped up to a main event because somebody didn't show up. I think it was like Main Event Mafia or something like that. Because I remember it was Booker T that announced him. It's like, our tag team partner is Cuta Keep. And he said it in this weird, because he was trying to do the British King accent. But
I think he went African.
Yeah,
And
but it was it just sounded so different from everything else that he said with that accent.
Yeah.
And it was like a pure main event of a pay-per-view, and it's like, oh, okay, so main event of the pay-per-view, and you've got fucking Billy Gunn doing his I hang about with the beautiful people jobber gimmick in the main event of a pay-per-view. We could probably go on about this for terrible tag team partners for ages. So the Good Brothers come out with their Impact tag titles, which was fun. And then, like, halfway through this match, there just was fireworks going off. Like, it was distracting the crowd.
Yeah.
And then they tried.
There was another event on close by.
Yeah. They were trying to explain on commentary, like, that there was other shit going on around them.
Yeah, because where they were in the LA Memorial Coliseum was just a very small part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they've only rented out like a bit of it, and then there was maybe things happening the other sides.
Yeah. Weapons start getting introduced as Mox throws chairs at both the Good Bros. Moxley hits a pile driver for 2. There's a point where Nagata and Mox both get chokes / cross faces on the Good Brothers. There's a magic killer to the outside onto a chair to Moxley. This allows the Good Brothers to come in and have a 2-on-1 advantage against Nagata. And then that leads to another magic killer to Nagata and is over.
It was an au revoir.
Yeah.
Literally just came to me last night watching. I was like, fucking lad, they stole fucking La Resistance finish.
La Resistance.
The good La Resistance.
Yes.
Sylvain Grenier and Robert, just look at me, Conway.
Well, did they not use it when it was Sylvain?
That's what I said.
Well?
Sylvain Grenier and Robert.
No, sorry.
Conway.
Sorry, I meant Sylvain and Renee. Did they not use it then as well?
Renee, they had a finisher called the Bonsoir, and it was essentially just this. There was like a double spine buster, like a. You'd get.
Was that like the T-shaped thing?
But without the T thing, because they basically just had like a hand on. Each had a hand on the opponent's chest. They lifted them up with the arse, almost a choke slam, but without the choke.
Yeah, because I remember like they done that one time with Spike Dudley, and they were trying to put him through 2 tables, and he only went through 1 table and smashed his fucking neck off the other one.
Aye.
Yeah, I remember
That's the Bonsoir. Whereas the au revoir is now known as the Magic Killer.
The Magic Killer. Well, it's confirmed. La Resistance to New Japan. Hey, it would be Rob Conway's first time in New Japan.
No, it would not. He defended the NWA title.
Yeah, and they lost it.
Aye. I think he lost
Kojima?
it to Tenzan.
Tenzan or Kojima? I think it may have been Kojima.
It was one or the other. I know it was Wrestle Kingdom 9.
He also lost the NWA tag titles to Tenkozy, so...
Oh. I know that he lost the NWA Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom 9 because it was the first year that they'd done it in English.
Mm-hmm.
It's either Kojima or Tenzan. It was one or the other.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the two. I remember that much because I was slightly invested in that point. So the Good Brothers start trying to talk shit, and then Anderson's microphone keeps cutting out, and then the GOD just kind of awkwardly walk out into silence because this was going on too long. There was the good moment when the mic cuts out, and we didn't even mention that Drama King was on commentary.
Oh, Drama King! Oh, fucking highlight, by the way. Highlight of the night.
But like the line of the night. The light of the night was right here when the mic wouldn't work, and so Drama King says, "Use your theatre voice."
Aye, project.
because he starts because Anderson starts screaming at the crowd and
could not hear a word he said.
Yeah, nah.
Even when he was screaming.
Like the mics weren't exactly that great, to be honest.
But I understood every fucking word that Tamatonga said.
So what did he say? Because I could barely hear.
He basically went, "What? You scared now? Come on, keep talking. I'm here. I can hear you. Come on, keep talking. Keep talking. You're the best. Keep talking."
Yeah, because they were tweeting back and forth, weren't they?
For a long time.
Mm. And now they're face to face, and the Good Brothers hightailed it.
As a very macho man once said, "Nose to nose and toes to toes."
Oh, yeah.
And then the Good Brothers shat it.
Yep.
Couldn't handle them guerrilla tactics. What?
Talk the talk, can't walk the walk. So we move on to the...
Wait. There was a wee bit of an announcement here that I didn't know about.
Oh, was there? I
Yeah.
must have missed it as well then.
Talking Shopomania 3 from Las Vegas.
Oh my god.
Another one I'm not watching.
Hey, you need to watch it now.
I've not watched any of them.
These are the rules.
I find it more entertaining when you talk about it, and I just listen and imagine.
I feel like we need to watch one together at least.
Well, if it's only on for like an hour and a bit, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. It's not like it's never the longest pay-per-view in the world, so like, if it was like fucking 3.5 hours or something like that, I could completely understand. But yeah, Talking Shopomania 3 may be the highlight of one episode, if nothing else happens that weekend. Right, so we get into the first of our two main events with Jay White versus David Finlay for the Never Openweight Championship. Before I run down, I'm going to throw it to you quickly and hit us up with a few thoughts, because I'm assuming this was probably one of like the ones that you were looking the most forward to.
Yeah, the build-up's been there for a while. Goes all the way back to when Jay White and David Finlay were young lions. Very first match together, Finlay wins. And then every singles match after that, Jay White smoked him. Jay White wins, 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 Jay White wins. Even defended the US title against him when he held the US title. And that was a wee bit back. It wasn't until this year Finlay beat Jay White in the quarterfinals of the New Japan Cup. And that's now the reason why we're here. And Finlay gets the title shot because he is the last person to pin Jay White. So it automatically makes him the number one contender. So it's went for the best of friends when they were young lions to
the blurst of enemies.
Yeah. But I mean, Jay White was a young lion when I first started watching New Japan.
I seen Jay White wrestle in Preston when he was a young lion.
Like, so that's like 2015. So what 6 years in now?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a rivalry.
And it's interesting the fact that like David Finlay pinned Jay White this year, you know, after his IWGP title reign, after his 40-plus minute main event at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I still obviously look at David Finlay as not as a much lesser wrestler than Jay White. And I mean, I've always said I was never the biggest Jay White fan, but like I can at least understand where he is in the sort of the pecking order of New Japan, yeah.
Yeah.
And David Finlay, I would consider a lot more down here.
Yeah, because he's been stuck with fucking Juice.
Exactly.
He's never been left really alone. He's either been in a tag team or part of a trio.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was paired up 1 year with fucking
Ricochet and Seidel.
Seidel.
Seidel got thrown out of Japan.
In that team, how the fuck is Finlay supposed to show
what he's got when
he's get them two fucking human highlight reels?
Mm-hmm.
At least now that he's with Juice, in my opinion, he's now the star of the team. He's
the Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because like this match went a lot longer and was a lot more physical than I thought it was going to be, and it definitely kind of put Finlay in a sort of new light for us. A lot of this match saw Switchblade on top, like kind of in the early going, but the kind of like sort of back end of the match with there was a part where Jay tries to suplex Finlay off the apron to the floor, which Finlay finally fought out of to prevent it. Finlay then drops Jay onto the apron. Wasn't the most impactful looking maneuver in the world, but we get the idea. Jay suplexes Finlay out of the ring to the floor, back suplex style, which terrified the hell out of me. Finlay with 2 blue thunder bombs got a 2 count. Finlay then locked in that double arm submission where he just kind of cranks your arm so you're almost like back clapping your hands behind your back. But Jay makes it to the ropes. Jay throws Finlay into the ref, hits a low blow. The ref then turns back around, starts questioning Jay because Finlay's holding his nards. So Jay shoves the ref. Finlay hits a low blow to a chorus of boos.
Chorus of Jay White. Jay White's the fucking man just now.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's just waiting for him to turn face and leave Bullet Club.
That would be interesting. Would he just be on his own then? Or do you think he may start another faction?
No, if he leaves Bullet Club, he'll probably go independent.
Yeah, because I don't think Chaos will have him back.
Gedo won't have him.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't think it'll happen though until Gedo being... Gedo's also quite like Conan in a way, but that's just the character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that it's part of his real life sort of politics where he just leeches on to the next best thing.
Yeah.
Like, he could still be fucking riding that Okada train.
Oh, easily.
But he helps build the next big star.
Yeah.
Stop gorilla pressing tackle.
Well, he's annoying me. Finlay with the low blow hits the last shot brainbuster to the knee for a 2 count. The Blade Runner gets countered to the stunner, and then the Blade Runner gets countered in a roll up for 2, and then Finlay goes for the acid drop, which gets countered to the Blade Runner, and it is over, and Jay White retains. See, for a match for 2 people that I'm not massive fans of, this was pretty damn awesome.
Yeah.
Absolute props to the 2 of them. And, because I mean, like, as I kind of said before, still not the biggest Jay White fan in the world, but see, when he came out at Slammiversary, even I understood the epic proportions of the situation that was going on here. It's just...
It's his era. You just need to breathe with his Switchblades.
It's just this thing now of, like... all these wrestling promotions intertwined Like, you would think that it would be exhausting to try to keep up with all this stuff. It's not, though. It's just making wrestling just so much more intriguing. And it really is making WWE almost like, I don't know, a little bit, yeah. Like sure, it's got its talent and all that, but it's all intertwined within itself. So that's why Raw and SmackDown every week have about a fucking half dozen rematches that we've seen within the past month, whereas Impact and AEW and Strong and even New Japan and AAA as well all have wrestlers that are being shared among and MLW as well, like to a lesser extent, all have these wrestlers like shared between them all, and it's just making everything so much more interesting.
I wonder if this is what it was like watching wrestling back in the day when it was the territories.
Territories, yeah. Because this is the closest that we would have to that.
I think this is the closest that we've had since.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody can go and spend a couple of months here and then finish up their story, then go elsewhere, and everybody's fresh because they get to go away and then come back again. And
you can see like these little like month runs that like some New Japan talent have, and Impact. They've been fun.
Yeah,
right. They'll come in. They'll have a pretty decent, somewhat high profile match at like Impact special. They'll bounce. Right, insert the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good fun. It's really good fun. Like, because I mean, like, Jesus, how many times have we popped at something incredibly exciting happening in WWE over the past while? Like, it's things like, you know, Nikki Ash, yeah, Nikki Ash winning the women's title. That's kind of awesome, but like that's
for the reason that WWE wanted to be awesome, though.
Exactly, that's awesome for us being Scottish.
Yeah.
And knowing Nikki Cross, but yeah, it's stuff like that where it's like the win was the last OMG blank is here moment. Like really, the only reactions that we have to WWE these days when it comes to OMG is, oh my god, they fired this guy.
Yeah. Or, oh my god, it's a shit ton of bunny rabbits.
I mean, I could dig that any day. Right, well.
Excitement. Do you want excitement?
Do I want excitement? I always want excitement.
While I was across the Atlantic Ocean in old Mexico, I signed the hottest free agent for February 30th, 2022. Oh, for fuck's sake, Fergal. First wrestler announced for the show. Hottest free agent because nobody else will have him.
Okay.
Alberto Del Scumbag.
Oh, hell yeah. Alberto Del Scumbag is turning heel.
You thought I was just over there sun tanning.
I mean, how else would you have watched Triplemania, to be honest? Other than being there live.
I was making $1 million moves.
I mean, I guess we'll take what we can get for our first show.
And the only reason I've signed him is because he did say he will accept iron brew bottles.
We can arrange that.
Of course we can, because they're no longer currency, and I've got a room full of them, waiting for them to be the new Bitcoin.
waiting for them to like go back on their mistake. Yeah, because like now they're just being recycled. Cats are kissing cats. Like Belle just ran out the room, ran straight up to tackle, and the two of them just started booping noses. I'm surprised that they didn't beat the shit out of each other.
Speaking of beating the shit out of each other, that's not going to fucking happen because Jay White said no to Ishii. He basically told him, fuck off.
Boo!
I get it. It's exactly the way that I was with the Osprey promo earlier. He's right. Ishii shouldn't get a match because White's already beat him this year. Not for the Never title, but he's beat him in a singles match.
So he has to prove himself now.
Yeah. He needs to go out and get some singles wins. I mean, Ishii's fucking killing it. Is 1/3 of the Never Openweight Tag Champions.
Over a year with those belts, they said?
Just about a year now.
Who's he with?
Goto and Yoshihashi.
That's kind of an all-star team.
I mean, it's since they won the belts, Yoshihashi's been on like another fucking level. He's completely upped his game.
That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you watch his matches, watch the match with Evil from last year's G1. Yes, there's a lot of fucking bullshit with fucking Dick Togo, but fucking Yoshihashi goes fucking hell for leather. And they've made the belts basically sell it now. These belts fucking main event like Road 2 shows and shit.
Yeah, because they were fucking nothing when they first started.
And I don't think, and they're always main events on these Road 2 shows. And I think the shortest one that they've had, shortest match that they've had, went 25 minutes.
Fucking hell.
And their latest defense was against Suzuki, Taichi, and Zack Sabre Jr.
Another all-star team?
Yeah. So it's really setting up, like, whoever's going to beat Chaos for these belts, it's going to be a big fucking deal.
Yeah, they'll need their working boots on for that one.
Yeah. So Ishii's killing it in 6-man just now, so I'd like to leave him there.
Yeah.
And bring somebody new in for the Never belt.
I mean, Ishii definitely is addicted to the Never Openweight title.
Yeah, he's a Never addict. Aye. I would not be against maybe Naito going for the Never Openweight Championship.
Hell, Naito's not held the belt in a long time.
Maybe even a Sanada now, since the IC belt isn't a thing. It's now technically the second tier championship.
Yeah, but that's the good thing. Like, I like the IC title, but it being gone means the Never Openweight title is definitely
More
the second belt.
But we'll be saying that for long after we talk about the main event.
Yeah, I suppose. Because the main event.
Main event.
Because the main event of IWGP of New Japan's Resurgence was Lance Archer defending the IWGP United States Championship against Hiroshi Tanahashi. Go Ace!
Go Lance!
Go Ace!
Go Lance!
Go Lance!
Shit for Lance Archer, by the way.
See, so do I, yeah.
So shit. It can't catch. Just when you think he's caught a break and he's going to do something, And let's face it, he's mid-40s now.
Yeah.
How many fucking chances is he going to get? Let him have a fucking run that's longer than fucking 3 weeks.
I know, because I was super happy for him winning that belt.
Yeah. He avenged his loss against Moxley in the Dome.
Mm-hmm.
He avenged his loss from the 1 year anniversary episode of Dynamite.
Yeah, when he lost the world title match.
Yeah. So Moxley's been like a fucking thorn in his sides. And we'll talk about Moxley a bit more as well.
Yeah.
This felt like the longest squash match ever. Like, Tanahashi just could not get a fucking look in.
I know, and then, like, because the thing was, I looked at this and there was about 40 minutes left of the pay-per-view, and I was like, Lance Archer is not going fucking Broadway. And then it went to show, because the match probably went about 17 minutes or something, and then there was about 20 minutes of Hiroshi Tanahashi talking and playing air guitar.
Yeah. And Moxley being all pissed off.
I know, like that's a discussion that I want to have, but we'll get to it when we get to it. Because there was a lot of the discussion kind of comes more at the end of the match with some of the things that were said.
Yeah.
So we start off with Tanahashi coming out, and his jacket keeps popping open, so he keeps stopping during his entrance to fix it.
Just leave it. Just go with it. Trish
I
Stratus
know.
will be fucking upset with you.
I know.
Don't fuck about with your ring gear. Just let it go.
Yeah, let it all out.
I mean, it's not as if you're covering up your fucking man boobs.
I know, because you're about to take the jacket off to wrestle. I don't know if I've ever actually told this story on the podcast, but since Hiroshi Tanahashi's in this match, it's probably now is a good time. Back when I used to watch like New Japan, like religiously, I suppose, as in like every show, like, and then realize how difficult that was. When Tanahashi was world champion or heavyweight champion, like obviously he had the jacket that goes round his championship, and so like Kat was sitting there once and she just looked at Tanahashi. It's like she just starts laughing hysterically, and I'm like, what? And she's like, does he have a window in his jacket for his belt? And it's like, yeah, I guess he does, yeah. And then from now like till this day, like she only knows him as Window Jacket.
Oh, Cat.
Ishii's giant baby.
Don't ever stop being you.
And D.H. Smith is Suburban Dad.
Suburban Dad. Has he been released yet?
From WWE? Don't know. Probably, and then rehired again because. So we get Archer coming out, and he does the awesome old school New Japan thing of beating up every member of the ringside crew.
I have missed it so much.
The only thing I do miss more,
he floored that first guy, and I was like, yes, it's back!
The only thing I miss more, and obviously I can understand why you can't do it, is spitting water on people.
Yeah, that gets stopped well before COVID.
But it was so goddamn funny. Just because that's what I used to associate his theme song with, was everybody that's pull out another bottle of water. Just like he has like 8 bottles of water like in his pants.
It has many buckets.
Excuse me. Yeah, it just, what was it? There was, I can't remember if it was a TV show or like an animated TV show, but like, I just remember like there was like one person like they were really sporty and they had like kind of a like sort of two belts across their chest that all had like tiny waters in it. And it's like, I'm surprised he didn't come out with something like that for like Wrestle Kingdom, just tons of bottles of water. Just going ham.
You need a 24 case for Costco just to walk the ramp at the Dome.
Hey, we'll take him. I can get a few things while I'm there, and you can get some cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
So we'll look at later in the match where Archer manages to hit his blackout move, but Tana makes the ropes before the 3 count. Archer attempts a second, but Tana counters into a sling blade. Archer takes the corner pads off and brings in a chair. Kelly does mention that Archer can lose the title by DQ, which does that apply for all New Japan titles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tana says Archer into the chair, gets a 2 count off of that, while Kozlov and commentary is going crazy, saying, shouldn't Tana be disqualified for that? Tana manages to get a crossbody high fly flow. Then he goes up for a second high fly flow to the back, connects with a third high fly flow to the front. It is over. Tanahashi has done it. Tanahashi has won every single championship there is to win in New Japan, except for the Toru Yano title.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Oh, because it's not an actual championship.
Yeah, and he's not the first person to do it. The first person to do it was in your first half of the main event, Jay White.
Now, well, I was going off specifically what they said. They said that Jay White has held every singles championship.
Right, and now so is Tanahashi.
No, but they said that Tanahashi's won every single championship, as in also tag team, also 6-man.
Right, okay. Because I was going to say, if you're going to say every championship, you need to include junior and junior tag, which he hasn't.
Huh. Never ever? Or was that not a point where he was a junior?
I don't think he's ever been a junior.
I mean, like, I know he's held like titles that don't exist anymore, unless like they're literally talking about every heavyweight title that he's eligible for.
I took it as that's Tanahashi now held every singles championship that he can go for, because I mean he won the Never this year, which was the first time doing that. Then the US, which is his first time doing that.
He's held the IC, he's held the World, he's held the tag, he's held the 6-man.
Because I mean the 4 belts were IWGP Heavyweight Championship, which he's won 8 times, IWGP Intercontinental Championship, which he's won twice, and then this year he won the Never in the US Championships for the first time.
Mm-hmm. I know this is the kind of weird thing when it comes to the way they said it. Like it was specific the way that they brought up Jay White's accomplishments, and then how different it was when they brought up Hiroshi Tanahashi. So that's why it led me to believe that Jay White has probably held every singles championship that he can hold in the being a heavyweight, whereas Tanahashi has now held every championship there is as a heavyweight, as in including the tag, including the 6-man.
We'll put a pin in it, and
we'll do some research.
And we'll do our research, and we'll get back to these next episodes.
Yeah. So after after the match, we get a few things. First off, Moxley was kind of ringside. He looks incredibly upset.
Of course he's upset.
Yeah, and it's probably knowing that his chances of getting that title back have now just went to Japan.
No, it's not that. He's pissed off that Tanahashi didn't challenge while he was champion.
Yeah, because he did bring that up on AEW.
Aye, you had to wait until Lance beat me for it because you're too chicken shit to challenge me.
Yeah, because he said he sent a big load of contracts to New Japan saying, send me these people.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's going to be something. Because Tanahashi says he's coming back, and Lance says, look, if you show up in AEW, you're first.
Yeah, and if you still have the belt, I want a rematch for it.
Aye.
Archer starts his promo with fucking Tanahashi.
I love Lance Archer.
Yeah, and then as you say, Tanahashi says, I have the US title, so I come back soon. And then this calls for air guitar. And yeah, like, obviously it's a Tanahashi ending to a pay-per-view, so that lasts about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Because Ben was like, right, Robert, can we turn this off yet? I'm like, no, it's not finished yet.
But the last match is done.
Like, 20 minutes. Robert, it's done, it's finished. I was like, no. Stupid, sexy Tanahashi is playing air guitar. Don't you see it?
He is stupid. He is sexy, and he is Tanahashi.
No, it's not he's stupid. It's stupid how sexy he is.
I mean, the air guitar thing is a bit stupid. But that's what makes it endearing.
He's just a stupidly sexy man.
So, like, with that, like, do you want to very, very quickly gloss over the debut of Rampage and then, like, more so kind of turn that into the conversation of what's potentially happening this week on Rampage?
Okie dokie. Christian Cage won the Impact World Championship.
Say it just a little bit slower. Or go into more detail.
Cage won the Impact Championship. Yes, I'm bilingual. I can speak whale. Brett Baker retained the Women's Championship. Debuted Jamie Hayter.
She didn't debut, she returned.
Buddy. If you let me finish my sentence, because you told me to talk.
You took too long. Yep. So as we said, Kenny Omega, Christian Cage, Impact World Championship. Cage hit the umpire on a chair on Kenny Omega, pinning Kenny Omega for the first time in nearly a year. And
it was all the Elite's fault.
Yes. But now, Christian Cage will defend the Impact World title against Brian Myers at Emergence.
Mm-hmm. And he will be on Impact this week.
Yes.
Britt Baker retained the Women's Championship against Red Velvet. That was pretty fun too.
Yeah, purely for the fact that, like, Red Velvet, the big facey face that she is, had to work heel. And then, as you says, Jamie Hayter making her return to the AE dubs, which is good for her. I like Jamie Hayter.
And then in the main event, Tony Khan finally signed fucking Fuego. Yes! 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 Yes!
Yeah, because, like, this whole match was like,
what match? Who gives a fuck?
I know, but the whole match was an emotional roller coaster because, like, I genuinely thought for a second that it was fucking happening.
Yeah, because he was all over him like a fucking fly on shite.
Yeah. Fuego came into the match with a 1-39 record, hit a tornado DDT before the match starts, hit a second, but Miro flies out the ring. Miro almost gets counted out, hits a third for the deepest of 2 count, comes off, going for a fourth, gets the Bulgarian drop, the match kick, and then Jericho with like Blind of the Night, which is the only reason why I want to run through this. Oh, a kid in the front row got Fuego's head as the souvenir.
Poor Fuego.
And yep, game over connects. Fuego completely distraught that he lost his chance. And then, I think we alluded to this earlier, apparently Fuego did not know that this was going to happen as Sammy Guevara comes out and tells him Fuego is legit all elite.
Yep. He's now Fuego del signed.
That name doesn't roll off the tongue as much.
Fuego del soiled my pants when I heard.
Yeah, I reckon so. But this is all building up to Chicago this Friday night, live on Rampage. And
fans.
Tony Khan has pretty much said in like interviews and stuff, yes, expect what everyone is thinking. So I think this is it.
It's either one or the other.
Yeah.
We're either going straight edge or it's going to be the return of American Dragon.
I guess you could say this is the final countdown to the Cult of Personality.
Yeah.
But because like I've always said, and I think this was before the Rampage show was announced in Chicago, that I'm reckoning they're probably going to be saving Daniel Bryan for the big New York show, which is only a few weeks from now.
Yes, it's next month.
Yeah, it's like it's less than a month at this point.
That might be the place where we see the new US champion.
Ooh, that's a good shout.
Because I mean, it's a fucking stadium, and if you want to fill it out, put on fucking Tanahashi versus Moxley.
Mm-hmm. What was I going to say there? God damn it. I'm feeling like that show is going to be treated like an absolute mammoth of a show. Like, I think that show is going to be bigger than your standard free pay-per-view, air quotes.
Yeah, I think, right, and you'll not hear me say this all the time. Actually, you won't hear me say this ever. I think, say, just for that one show, Dynamite should be 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, just tack Rampage onto that and just do it as one big one. And then just don't have a Rampage that week.
Or still have a Rampage and just have a one and only 3 hour Dynamite and let matches fucking breathe. Like give matches, like if you're going to have Tanahashi Moxley, give them 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Give fucking CM Punk, if that's what's going to happen, give him fucking 20 minutes.
Mm. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and you better believe that Rampage is at least next week also going to get brought up. But I don't know. Like, let's just quickly talk about Christian before we go. Like, do you care? Are you happy? Like, what are your kind of thoughts on it?
I'm happy because of what happened on Rampage this week, it is now within all realms of possibility they can beat Kenny Omega.
Because
it's not just a oh, right, okay, that covers all out so we can get to Full Gear for Kenny's next defence. It's like, oh, he's beat him 4 World Championships. So it's possible he can do it again.
Because the thought of this for me was when Christian won the Impact title, he was then going to go to Mexico. He was then going to lose the AAA Mega title to Andrade, which, as we talked about, he didn't, which was a bit of a strange circumstance. And then this leaving him just with the AEW title. Obviously, it didn't go that way, but like it's interesting that now that they're sort of taking the belts off them, or starting to take the belts off of him. But how much longer do you reckon that they're going to do the 2 belts thing? The Impact and TNA titles? Yeah.
I've been Bound for Glory?
Yeah, I think they should like consolidate it in one championship again, because it doesn't make sense anymore having the TNA title.
Yeah, I understand having it while Kenny was champion because
it made it look good. Yeah.
And it worked with what he was doing. Swan carrying the 2 belts, he just won it.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. So I think maybe unify them into 1 belt. Bound for Glory.
Maybe even make a new belt.
Since Bound for Glory basically teased everyone's involved.
Yeah. I mean, Bound for Glory is going to be a one to watch this year. I mean, it is every year for us because we fucking watch everything. But I'm reckoning that's a good place to stop for this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we travelled the 7 seas.
Yep, we went from Mexico to California.
And then to Britsburg. So let's wrap this shindig up. Hit us with one of those, Robo.
A Robo.
And I'll hit you with a C. You later.
Remember, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Heel Podcast. And also, don't forget, you can hear our archives on the World Wide Web at heelpodcast.co.uk. Well, that's all, folks. So long. Have a good day.